Hello everybody, I'm B.
I'm T.
And we're Our Dream, Our Purpose. It's really a channel that we like to show a lot of what we do, adventures, fun, helping others. And so today, really it is a montage of photos that were put together a few years ago on a castle in the middle of the woods. So hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to start this off with the do not enter sign. This was property that was really watched over by some neighbors for years and years. The neighbors actually put their house up for sale. While it was up for sale, we were able to get the opportunity to go check out this property, this castle. Now, one thing about this castle and this adventure really is, as I grew up, I heard a lot about this castle. So this castle sat in the Grafton, Ohio area, literally right off a highway. You could see it as you drove by certain times of the year. A doctor by the name of Dr. Famore actually commissioned this castle to be built. Started in the 70s. But then ended up stopping in 1982, where he actually was charged and arrested for drug charges. He ended up going into jail and didn't get out until 1995-ish, but then passed away shortly after that. The visit and the pictures you're seeing now are over 30 years after they stopped building this. And personally, I believe that building the castle is in immaculate shape for sitting there for 30 years. And I won't say untouched. You can see in some of these pictures, you'll see holes in the walls and things like that. There were a lot of rumors, and I say rumors, I can't confirm any of them. There were a lot of rumors that he actually hid jewels, money, things like that in the walls or in the area of the castle. So when you see some of the holes that were busted in, people would actually go back there and actually tear up the building, put holes in it, searching for this money. Anytime we research or we actually go and look at an area, our goal is not to damage it. Our goal is to leave it the way we found it. It's cool to see the history and to see these this area like this and a castle in the middle of the woods. Just something never expected. I think for me, really the fact that I grew up in an area where there's a castle close by was important, but I also grew up knowing that my aunt actually worked for him at one point in time. She was not involved in any of the drug dealings whatsoever, but she worked for him, so I just felt a connection to the story. And as I was digging into this story to put this video together, I had a conversation with my father and asked if he thought my aunt would mind if I mentioned her in there. He says, don't think it's a problem at all. He said, but a little history from him. Back in the day when you would get married, you would actually have to get your blood work done. So when my mom and my dad got married, Dr. Famore is actually the one that took their blood for the blood test. So I thought it was interesting just to have a little more of that background information. But to be able to see some of this is a castle that has seen better days. The blocks and the brickwork is still a lot there. But what you see missing is you'll see square pockets in the wall. There was actually beams there that actually went across, and the entire inside the building was a floor. It was multiple floors, different levels. What you also see is the arches are still solid and in incredible condition. But all the wood had rotted away over the years. There's trees growing inside. You see some cracking and things like that. But this castle was built to be a castle. It actually had set up to have a moat around the entire outside of it, which how you would maintain it, I'm not sure, but it was interesting to see that was the plan and the intention. It had in the corners planned to have towers where you could be up in the towers and watch. So just overall to see something after 30 years in this condition. But again, when you hear castles, it's somewhat of a fairy tale. So this was just an opportunity to go back and some of my childhood thoughts, bucket list items, to actually get to go and see and check them out and understand the status of them, and what the stories were all about. So getting to go and see this was, to me, important, but it was a great opportunity to see a castle in the woods, not far from where I grew up at that point in time. It was kind of neat, and but I'll go over a little bit more of the details as we go through some of these pictures. You can see a lot of the block work from a distance. You can see it is grown over, ivory all over it. We definitely had to be careful as we were going through there, but it was a great opportunity. One thing I like to mention as well is the magnitude of this building, the size of it. When you're looking at this and the archways you're seeing up top and things like that, it's tough to get an overall view, but from there you can see some of the different floors, the joists. It was multiple floors, and each floor was at least 10 to 12 feet apart. So you're talking a 30-foot tall building from where you're standing on the ground itself. And in some areas taller than that. So it was tough because you're in the woods and you can see the thick of it, the thick of the wood. So it's tough to get a overall picture of the whole thing, but just the different areas we're getting. It was very massive undertaking when they put this together. This was actually from the inside looking out. This is on the outside now. But when you stand in the middle of it and look, it was just massive. Here's another picture. I believe this is that was part of where the moat was. But it was interesting to see such a thing. There was no water in it at that point in time, but it was just impressive to see how it was designed and being built. You see a little bit of it here. This is a separate building off on the side. It had multiple buildings, so it wasn't just one. This is a little farther away, trying to give a overview of it. What you're going to start seeing here is you can see blocks and see where it was still part of the wall and it fell. Over time, this is slowly corroded away. Again, I mentioned earlier, I was very impressed with the building itself after 30 years. But unfortunately, since this video or these pictures were made, the entire building has collapsed. It is private property now. But it was during this time, it was great to be able to see. What you also just saw was a road sign. This is literally right next to, we're talking 100, let's say 200 yards from a main highway in the area. So it's just interesting to have a castle right out there near that. But again, do not enter. It's private property at this point in time, and it has, from what I can tell, been torn down. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, our dream, our purpose. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you.